Good afternoon. Should we wait for a while? Distinguished guests, dignitaries, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon to all of you. The outset, I would like to thank the organizer for having invited us here, and it's indeed a privilege. A very, very relevant theme, and it's an honor to be here to share some of the experiences today. I don't really have a structured presentation, and we have been here seeing and hearing a couple of excellent presentations from speakers before me. I'm still yet to get out of Mr. Mutreja's session where one tends to get deeply involved, get reflective. So I'm trying to come out of it still, sir. Thank you. So before maybe I do some experience sharing of what has been our experience as far as rural economy and sustainable water solutions from the perspective of NABARD's experience and interventions over the past 4 decades plus. A little bit of number crunching, collated from a number of World Bank data, various reports of World Bank. A couple of speakers did mention while I was here, they did touch upon some of the numbers, but I just try and collate a few of those again. So 16% of the world's population supported by 4% of freshwater resources. That's from a global perspective. And thus, we have the dubious tag of being one of the most water-stressed nations globally. More than 60% of our irrigated agricultural land and 85% of our drinking water requirements are made through groundwater resources. Paradox again, right now more than 30% of the blocks are water stressed, black box, as per different groundwater survey reports. And despite thousands of crores of investments and a lot of progress in this area of water conservation, water harvesting, we still have about 91 million people lacking access to clean water and more than 760 million without sanitation and proper sanitation and healthy water. And compounded to that, the impact of climate change. We have heard a lot of speakers touch upon these issues of climate change. So when we talk from the water perspective, what are the impacts of climate change? Extreme weather events, frequent droughts, severe floods, melting glaciers, and rising sea levels. And the rural economy, which derives its strength from the agriculture and the natural resources, is particularly vulnerable. It's always the population at the bottom of the pyramid. The less resourced are always the most vulnerable in any climate scenario. And what causes this? Unsustainable cropping patterns. Glaring example of Punjab being the paddy basket of the country in terms of its contribution to the central pool. Over-extraction of groundwater, again, thousands and thousands of hectares in the northern plains of the country, especially in Punjab and Haryana, are developing salinity because of this constant over-exploitation of groundwater resources. And steady degradation of soils, soil erosion, leading to now we have a statistical data that says about more than 120 million hectares of land are degraded. And soils across much of the country are losing their organic carbon and fertility. And it's because of all these reasons that the Economic Survey of 24-25 had mentioned that India is the 7th most climatically vulnerable nation globally. And again, causes of all this: biodiversity loss, climate impacts leading to water scarcity, and a host of other reasons we have just talked about. And so what we have been doing as a nation traditionally, we were basically as a nation, if we look at our water experience across decades, we have been basically focused and investing in the supply side, large structures, dams, canals, intensive pumping. And now we shift to an era where these particular interventions have not really been able to address the issues of scarcity, inequality, and climate risk. Thus, the future of water security hinges from transitioning from the supply side infrastructure investment into approaches that are more sustainable and demand driven. And here it is very pertinent to mention that the climate tech companies, some of the earlier speakers again had touched upon this, AI-driven startups which are working on the climate tech space have been playing a phenomenal role over the last few years. And as an institution, NABARD has been pretty supportive. I'll just touch upon a couple of schemes of NABARD, which has been supporting, like one of our subsidiaries, NAB Ventures, has been supporting through Startup Capital Fund into some of these climate tech companies, where we see that the approaches, the technologies that we are talking about are transformative in nature. We also have other funds. We have a dedicated climate fund to support this kind of interventions, pilots, and we are very happy to share in this forum that we have been supporting organizations that work in soil carbon. Like there are startups, there is a technology where you give a lat long and the technology provides you organic carbon data across years. We are supporting interventions for conversion of traditional paddy to alternate wet and drying methods, capturing carbon credits. Our standee there says that NABARD's interventions in the nature-based solutions till now has sort of sequestered more than 1 million units of carbon credits. And that's possibly an understatement if we look at the tradition of more than 4 decades into the space that we are working in. So there are other schemes also, as we maybe discuss, I'll touch upon a few more of these. So when we talk of sustainable water solutions, what basically are we talking about? Primarily efficient use and conservation of water resources, protection of the water quality, participatory management, governance and equity, and of course, marriage of ecology and climate resilience. And it is with all these characters and a little bit more that NABARD had initiated in 1992, that's more than 3 decades back, the Indo-German Watershed Development Program with the support of German organization KfW. Fast forward 7 years, the experience was drawn and Government of India and NABARD together launched the Watershed Development Fund, which was a transformative path-breaking approach at that point of time. I'm talking of the year 1999. It started with an investment of 200 crores contributed by GOI and NABARD equally. And very happy to share that across these last almost 3 decades, we have touched upon almost 30 lakh hectares of land with the core objective of soil and water conservation. And it actually transformed into much more than that, much more than soil and water conservation. It actually touched lives. It changed the groundwater villages where we have seen, I personally incidentally was involved in this at the point when I joined NABARD sometime in 1996 and was personally involved in designing of this program. How it had touched lives, transformed villages where prospective brides, parents would not marry them into those villages. I'm talking of the Vidarbha region of Maharashtra, the Marathwada regions of Maharashtra, very, very water-starved areas. Some of us who possibly are aware of those geographies would be possibly able to relate to this. It changed the crop productivity scenario. It restored the groundwater, restored soil fertility, increased cattle production, and brought in a complete change of livelihood. And across 30 lakh hectares and with an investment of more than 3,000 crores across this period, it has been a very, very transformative journey. Another very important program which NABARD is implementing in 5 states of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and Rajasthan is basically working in select overexploited blocks with the state governments to see that groundwater conditions improve in these areas. So from our experience, one can say we understand that community participation and nature-based solutions, nature-based approaches could form the cornerstone of any sustainable water solution that we talk about. And we need to now bring in the AgTech component, the technology AI-driven components in it. Couple of very noteworthy programs, both from the government of India as well as in different states, I'd like to touch upon and mention here. I guess it's relevant. One is the Jal Jeevan Mission, which basically a government of India initiative, and across 5 years or little more than that, the piped water supply has increased from a position of 18% to more than 80% now. That's a phenomenal transformation in 5 to 6 years. We have some very unique initiatives in some of these states, like point to note is Mission Kakatiya and Miru Niru in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, where the traditional tank-based water management systems have radically transformed. Like if we look at the statistics, more than 78% groundwater recharge has happened as compared to the before scenario and the after scenario, and there has been an increase in livelihood. Fisheries, income from fisheries has increased by more than 40%. These are again documented study reports that are there. I'm just trying to quote a couple of these. The indigenous knowledge, the traditional water harvesting methods, the methods of water conservation, which we had forgotten somewhere along the way, is revived in many states. We can do a lot of counting as to the number of interventions. Just like to touch upon a couple of these, like the Sandarshi project in Punjab, where the borewells had failed and the village elders got together, the people got together and revived some of the tanks. It's all tank-based, pond-based rejuvenation, pond rejuvenation. Even NABARD had this 1,000 shallow tube wells, 1,000 ponds across different states that we did. We took up with the state governments rejuvenation of tanks which were derelict, especially in the eastern part of the country. Government of India had also launched this, and we had been supporting the government. I'm talking of a period that's possibly 10, 12 years back. We have Rajasthan's MJSA, I'm forgetting the full acronym, it's Jal something, anyways. MJSA program phase 2, where the target was reaching to more than 2 lakh villages in the state, and that has been again a transformative journey where the state government had done a phenomenal job of utilizing indigenous knowledge. And examples galore. We have the Kate program in Maharashtra, Ralegaon Sindhi, I guess we have all heard of. In each and every project that we have just mentioned, in Kirkuma in Nagaland, a very unique project where the Rusa communal system was adopted. There is a system of water being pulled down by the gravity of the ponds. So ponds are different strata, looking at the geography of that place and how interconnected the ponds were. The water flows down the gravity and reaches the fields. And it's been a unique system, traditional system, which was forgotten in between and revived now with fantastic outcomes. We have also been supporting the northeastern states, Meghalaya specifically, in terms of spring shed development through different forays, and one can go on, of course, looking at the paucity of time. And there are n number of interventions which NABARD has been taking up and is still continuing. Again, one very important product that we have is a national green lending facility of NABARD, NGLF, which has recently been launched as young as March 2025, where we are looking to support sustainable water solutions in terms of, we are trying to support circular economy, wastewater management, of course commercially viable projects since it's a grant-based projects, but then there are other streams also, like we have a climate change fund through which we support grant-based product basically, where we support startups or any organization that is working in any of these spheres. And of course, the program on ecology like Jiva and the programs that we mentioned, these are all running, and of course there are different kinds of variants to all this. So basically our tryst with water, soil and water conservation and nature-based solutions is not really new. While we are talking of this in a present day era in these many jargons, while we talk of climate resilient agriculture, climate resilient water management practices, NABARD has been actually practicing this for more than 3 decades when these words in this context did not even exist. So I think I'll take a pause here and just try to summarize by saying that given our experience, we feel that the road ahead in this realm of water conservation could be a fantastic blend of AI, data-driven technology, community participation, governance, equity, and nature-based solution, like any of these watershed projects that we have been doing. These are all basically nature-based interventions. So the moment we have a blend of all these components together, I think we would have a scenario where we can leave a lot of water and transform ourselves from this bleak position to a much more water surplus, or at least water comfort position for our future generations. Thank you so very much.
Wait, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It is indeed a pleasure having you today.